Welcome, learners, to another deep dive. Today, we're embarking on a truly profound journey, one that takes us beyond the veil of physical existence itself. We're diving deep into the concept of the life between lives state, often referred to simply as LBL. And our core source material is a really fascinating lecture by sumitjee, which illuminates this in incredible detail. Our mission for this deep dive is to synthesize a comprehensive overview of these spiritual teachings. We'll be exploring what happens when the soul transitions from one physical life to the next, and, what profound insights this transition offers us for our lives right now.
It really is a radical perspective, isn't it? I mean, it challenges so many conventional ideas about life, death, and especially, I think, personal responsibility. We'll explore the soul's true home, the often misunderstood purpose of our incarnations, and the transformative lessons learned in that interim state, all through the lens of Sumitjee's insights, of course.
Okay, great. Let's unpack this intricate concept of LBL and discover what it truly means for our understanding of ourselves, our journey, and, the choices we make every single day. #1, the true nature of the interlife realm. So let's begin at the very foundation. What exactly is this life between lives state? Sumitjee defines it not just as a location, but as our natural home. It's described as far more than just, a transient waiting room for souls. It's a profound, fundamental plane of existence from which we venture forth on an arduous journey of physical embodiment. Can you elaborate a bit on what RDS signifies here, and why is this realm considered our actual home?
Absolutely. So RDS, Sumitjee explains, stands for reincarnation, death, and spirit. It's this continuous cycle, but it's not strictly linear, more like a recurring journey we undertake from our fundamental spiritual origin. And what's truly fascinating, I think, is how the Source emphasizes the tangible reality of this natural home. It's explicitly stated that the LBL realm is not a fairy tale world,
Mhm.
nor is it an atmosphere of free-flowing cotton wool emptiness. It's real.
Not in.
Not at all.
Hmm.
In fact, those who have, as the Source puts it, tested its richness, know that they have visited the ultimate reality, the plane of consciousness.
Wow, the ultimate reality.
Exactly. This insight really challenges our earthly perception of what's real. It tells us that what we experience here, in the physical realm, is temporary. Important, yes, but temporary. It's a projection. While the LBL state is the very source from which we embark on successive trials of incarnations and where we return at the death of the body.
So it's like our home base.
Pretty much. The ultimate base of operations for the soul. It's a foundational truth of our existence, according to this teaching.
Okay, that reframes everything, doesn't it? If this is our ultimate reality, then our concept of self must also change significantly when we're in that state. And here's where it gets really intriguing for me. The concept of meta-consciousness. What exactly is that state like for the soul? How can you be more intensely self-aware while also sort of merging with a larger existence? That sounds paradoxical.
It does sound paradoxical from our viewpoint, yes, but it's a pivotal aspect of the LBL experience. In this state of metaconsciousness, the individual soul merges with the quintessence of existence. But here's the profound paradox Sumitjee highlights. In surrendering his own identity, the soul becomes at the same time more intensely self-aware.
So it's not losing yourself.
Not at all. It's an amplification, an immense amplification. Think of it like a drop of water returning to the ocean. It dissolves into the vastness, right?
Yeah.
But it simultaneously gains the knowledge and experience of the entire ocean while still retaining its unique dropness within that larger awareness. The individual soul's identity isn't erased. It expands. It becomes richer, more profound through its reconnection with universal consciousness.
That's a powerful image.
In the interlife realm, through self-revelation, it places physical being in proper perspective. This is crucial for us to understand. It definitively shows that the spiritual in us, our essence, is beyond destruction.
Indestructible.
Yes. This experience demonstrates that, at death, we merely leave behind our chosen vehicle of flesh and bones so that another stage may begin. So for you listening, this means a profound restoration of clarity, an expanded insight into your own life. It allows the soul to truly understand why it was embroiled in the circumstances of incarnation just past, and why it chose the setting, the involvements of that life, including parents, careers, major events contributing to both joys and sorrows, all of it.
Seeing the why behind it all.
Exactly. It's about seeing yourself as he truly was, free from earthly illusions. And that clarity allows for profound learning and growth that, frankly, just isn't possible within the confines of a physical body.
Okay, so if the LBL state is this incredibly loving, expansive place, our natural home, full of lightness and love, it really does seem counterintuitive from our earthly perspective. Why would souls choose to leave it? Why choose to be born into physical bodies, entering a realm often filled with struggle, pain, and limitation? Why sign up for that?
That's maybe one of the most fundamental questions these teachings tackle. And sumitjee answers it very directly. Despite preferring the lightness and love of LBL, most of us choose to be born in order to go on the journey of soul learning.
A journey of soul learning.
Yes, it's not a punishment, not a random assignment. It is a deliberate, conscious act of seeking growth and evolution. The purpose of incarnation isn't just to exist, but to learn, to refine, and to advance the soul's spiritual journey. It's a path of active, experiential development.
But this soul learning doesn't sound like a spiritual walk in the park, does it? Sumitjee implies it's rigorous, even painfully slow sometimes. It sounds more like a spiritual boot camp designed for intense purification. What exactly does this purification involve, and why does it have to be so tough?
You've hit on a core truth there. Sumitjee emphasizes that enlightenment is a price to be won only after painfully slow journey of purification from body to body. This process, this purification, involves confronting and refining aspects of the soul still attached to, let's say, lower vibrations. Things like ego, fear, attachment, judgment, those reactive patterns we all have. It's a stripping away of impurities, a process of refinement that can only truly happen through the crucible of physical experience.
The crucible. Yeah, that sounds about right sometimes.
And this brings us to a crucial insight. The cost of this spiritual advancement. Sumitjee is very clear on this. The price of advancement is always challenge and difficulty.
Always.
According to this teaching, yes, this isn't about arbitrary suffering or some kind of cosmic punishment. Instead, it reveals a pretty radical truth. The struggles we face in our lives aren't random. They aren't just bad luck. They are the very crucible in which our souls are purified and advanced. Our greatest growth often emerges precisely from our greatest challenges.
So adversity is chosen.
From this perspective, yes. It isn't a burden inflicted upon us, but a chosen path, a carefully designed curriculum for our soul's evolution. So when you face a significant challenge in your life, the teaching suggests, remember, your soul very likely chose that specific experience.
It's because it knew.
It knew it held the key to your next level of growth. It's a profound act of courage and commitment to oneself, really.
Okay, let's shift focus to the moment of transition itself, the return journey. What happens when a soul leaves the physical body and returns to the LBL state? Does it feel frightening, painful, or is there a completely different experience waiting?
Well, most journeys into the inner life commence with a death scene, as the source puts it. However, and this is a critical point that brings immense peace to many, however traumatic the death may have been, all distress becomes drained away almost instantaneously.
Instantly, like flipping a switch.
Pretty much. The individual experiences a sudden kind of a sigh of relief because all the death burden, all the past will be like suddenly switched off. It's an immediate release.
Release from pain.
Anxiety? Exactly. All physical pain, emotional anguish, earthly anxiety is gone. There's a sudden realization and this profound clarity. The soul quickly recognizes that this new place is not a strange place. These are all familiar places. Why?
Because they've been there before.
Multiple times. They've been through that situation multiple times.
Yeah.
This is why there's no judgment in the way many earthly religions conceive it. No stern figure waiting to condemn.
Just understanding.
Yes. It's a return to a known, welcoming, and profoundly supportive space.
That's genuinely comforting. So if it's familiar but also different, it seems earthly roles of time and space just completely dissolve then. How does the soul perceive this new reality where Sumitjee says everything happening all at once, almost non-linearly? How do you even process that?
That's right. Our earthly constructs just don't apply. There's no logic and no order, no progression in the way we understand linear time and space. The first thing that'll happen is time dilation. Time expands, compresses. It's unimaginable from here.
And no sense of location.
None. You'll not have a sense of geographical location. Sumitjee uses this powerful analogy. Imagine waking up on the planet Jupiter and seeing 5 different moons in front of you.
Whoa.
Everything is new, alien almost. Impossible to relate directly to earthly concepts without some kind of spiritual translation. The inner life's abstract elements must be converted into imagery using symbols.
Symbols from where?
Either from the current life or from some other reincarnation. Whatever resonates with the soul's experience. For instance, a torch might symbolize a non-material impulse of guidance. Why a torch? Simply because that's the closest the incarnated mind can get to describing that pure, eliminating energy.
So it's like translating pure energy into something understandable.
Exactly. It's a dynamic, simultaneous collage of information. And the soul, often with help from guides, starts to decode it into understandable images and insights.
Okay, so perception itself is fundamentally altered. Does everyone experience this transition in the exact same way? Or are there variations depending on, say, the soul's level of development or how they died?
Oh, not at all the same. The experience is highly individualized. The source describes a smooth transition from the incarnate to the discarnate state for individuals who have spent their lives molding an outer character in according to the soul's highest impulses.
People align with their soul's purpose.
Precisely. These are souls who are described as happy about leaving their bodies behind, perhaps feeling they've completed their chosen lessons. Sumitjee even highlights how powerful life between lives regression can be for terminally ill patients.
How so?
After experiencing LBL and regression, they might totally change their stance, becoming at peace with their passing. Some even start consoling their loved ones, affirming their death will be peaceful. It provides a profound healing that, no earthly power, money, or ritual can replicate.
That's incredible. But what about the opposite, less developed souls or traumatic deaths?
Conversely, the source suggests less developed personalities usually either struggle to remain in the body,
Clinging on.
yes, or, particularly if they're in poor health, may wish to exchange their bodily vehicle as quickly as possible for a new body and re-enter rapidly into a physical existence. Think of souls who endured intense physical pain, maybe from cancer or prolonged suffering like in wartime. They might not wish to return immediately.
Understandable.
But others, maybe those experiencing sudden traumatic deaths, accidents, perhaps suicide, they might not spend enough time in LBL. They might have a strong desire to reincarnate back into the human form almost immediately, maybe to process the abruptness or unfinished business.
So it's very case by case.
Very much so. Depends on the soul's state, its readiness, its experiences from the life just ended. Sumitjee makes a fascinating point here, using an analogy to an astrological birth chart. He says it isn't a picture of your future.
What is it then?
It's more like a screenshot at the time of your birth, reflecting what all I've done in the past. It reflects your past tendencies, your fan scars.
Tan scars. Those are like deep karmic imprints.
Exactly. Deep-seated impressions from previous actions and experiences. If you don't change anything in this life consciously, your life will likely unfold based on those old patterns shown in the chart.
But you can change it.
Yes. That's the empowering part. When the awareness kicks in, Sumitjee says, you can effectively change your astrological chart. It's about breaking those repetitive tendencies through conscious choice and growth in your current life.
Awareness is key then. So when a soul arrives in this completely new, non-linear realm, are they just left to figure it out? Or is there help?
Oh, absolutely there's help. That's one of the most comforting aspects of the transition described, the presence of welcoming entities. It could be a deceased relative or friend.
Was someone familiar?
Yes, or a conductor or a guide who's been watching over the individual during his lifetime may welcome the new arrival. This aligns perfectly with ancient concepts, like the Bardo method described in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, or similar ideas in the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
So these aren't new ideas.
Not at all. These traditions show guides assisting the soul through transitional states. It's really interesting how consistent these spiritual traditions are across cultures and millennia, isn't it?
It really is.
It underscores the enduring nature of these teachings. These methods of spiritual guidance emphasize that even in this seemingly alien realm, there's a profound structure of support and loving guidance waiting. The soul is never truly alone. #Tag4. The Life Review and the Council of Guides.
Okay, so after this welcome, Sumitjee describes a really pivotal moment, the life review. What exactly does that entail? Is it like passively watching a movie of your life, or is it something much more intense?
Oh, it's far more intense and profound than just watching a movie. The source calls it an instantaneous panoramic flashback of the life review that contains every detail of the last incarnation. Every detail.
Instantaneous. How?
Remember, time isn't linear there. The soul doesn't merely observe, it absorbs every jolt of meaning from his personalized videotape. This experience precipitates a rigorous exercise in self-analysis. It's not just recalling memories.
It's understanding the meaning.
And the impact. It's a deep personal understanding of one's actions, the intentions behind them, and the repercussions. You fully experience how those actions impacted others, almost as if they're happening to you.
Wow. That sounds
It
intense.
is. This is the realm where the Akashic record, as some traditions call it, that cosmic library of everything, begins to unfold for the soul. All the key moments, those bookmark moments from your life, flash before you, especially moments where you might feel regret or have that burning desire to understand, why did that happen?
An unparalleled level of self-reflection then. But for many people, the idea of a judgment after death brings up fear,
Yeah.
stern punishing figures deciding your fate. Is that what this Board of Judgment or Council of Elders represents in LDL? Is it about punishment?
That's a crucial point because, as Sumitjee notes, the belief in judgment after death pervades every religion on earth. We're conditioned to expect it. However, he clarifies that while a board of judgment, often 3 in number, does exist, they are absolutely not punishers.
Not punishers. Okay.
Yeah. They might even appear as familiar mythological figures. Krishna, Ganesha, Christ, depending on the soul's own projections and beliefs. The mind tries to make the experience understandable, but Sumitjee emphatically states they will be none of them in their true essence. They are pure, empathetic beings of light beyond specific forms.
Beings of light
Right.
and their role.
These members of the ethical tribunal are highly advanced spiritually. They know intuitively everything about the person standing before them, not by reading a file, but through direct soul connection.
And just.
Intuitively, yes. Their role is to assist the individual in evaluating the life that has just passed, to make recommendations regarding the next incarnation. They are described as being like loving teachers. They initiate discussion of critical episodes from the life lived, and they offer retrospective counsel and reassurance that each experience, no matter how unsavory, promotes personal development.
So reassurance, even for the tough stuff.
Absolutely. Their purpose isn't to condemn, but to heal, guide, and foster growth. They radiate a restorative healing energy that abolishes handicaps and removes guilt. They help the soul integrate its experiences without lingering self-condemnation. It's like the most profound, compassionate therapy session imaginable.
Conducted with total honesty and unconditional love.
Exactly. As Sumitjee points out, if you are smart, you will understand here in this review. Otherwise, you'll just keep repeating the lessons until the understanding truly sinks in.
So it's less about divine punishment and much more about divine teaching and integration. Makes sense. What's the ultimate goal of this rigorous yet loving review process? Is it just about seeing where you messed up, or is there a bigger picture for the soul's evolution?
The core purpose is to help the soul gain greater self-awareness than is ever really possible while incarnated on Earth. The Council assists the soul in achieving an objective understanding of its action within the larger context of the many lives, seeing the connections.
Across lifetimes.
Yes, this is absolutely key. Sumitjee says only by observing karmic trends and patterns, always difficult to discern within the single life, can a soul gain some measurement of its progress on the long journey of spiritual evolution. It means recognizing the threads connecting your past, present, and future experiences, understanding those recurring themes or challenges.
And knowing that helps us now.
Profoundly. This understanding helps you shorten the learning curve right now in this life. Sumitjee is very clear. What we are doing through these classes, through the scriptures, through repetition, through going back to your previous life, we are shortening that lifespan.
Shortening the lifespan of the struggle.
Essentially, yes. We're actively shortening the number of painful repetitions of the same lessons. He used the analogy. If you don't study in school, you have to take extra tuition. The hard work only increases if you don't grasp the lessons when they're first presented.
Right.
The life review and the council are there to ensure the lessons are fully absorbed so the soul can move forward with conscious intent, not just repeating old habits.
You mentioned a radical perspective earlier, and this section, wow, it really brings it home with what feels like an earth-shattering insight. What is the core, the most impactful teaching from Sumitjee's lecture? The one that truly shifts our perspective on life and everything in it.
It's the absolute undeniable truth revealed in LBL, and Sumitjee repeats it often for emphasis. It is this: we are thoroughly responsible for who we are and the circumstances we find ourselves. We are the ones who do the choosing.
We are the ones who do the choosing. Thoroughly responsible.
Yes, this is the ultimate realization, the fundamental lesson that echoes through the entire LBL experience. It completely strips away all illusions of victimhood.
That's incredibly powerful and maybe challenging for some people to really accept. So what does this mean for the choices we think we have or don't have in life? If we're responsible for everything, does that include the huge things we feel are totally out of our control, like our family or where we were born?
It means precisely that. It means each and everything is your decision. This extends to incredibly significant aspects of our lives that we often see as random or accidental or just imposed on us by fate. We're talking about the option of choosing one's parents.
Choosing our parents.
Yes, and through that, establishing and setting the direction of lifetime to come. Even which country, which place, every fundamental aspect of your life setting is, according to this teaching, your doing. A choice made for soul growth.
That really changes how you look at things.
It can be truly transformative. It shifts the perspective on things previously seen as unfair or just bad luck. It completely eliminates the victim card. Once you truly grasp that everything is your doing, the complaining, the self-pity, it just stops making sense.
The Rona Dona Katam, as sumitjee puts it, the crying and complaining is finished.
Exactly. It takes away all the falsity and the gimmicky things we sometimes cling to in our earthly dramas.
Yeah.
Like believing certain rituals or superficial practices can magically erase our chosen path or change our karma without real personal effort and interchange. Sumitjee even notes that souls, upon this realization in LBL, often laugh at themselves.
Why?
Yes, when they finally see how perhaps childish or misguided their earthly beliefs and actions were in the grander scheme of their soul's evolution. It's a moment of profound liberation from self-deception.
Okay, if we're truly responsible for our lives and the life review gives us this deep understanding, then planning the next life must become a crucial, forward-looking part of the LBL experience, right? It's not just looking back, but actively designing what's next.
Precisely. The knowledge gleaned from the review process equips the soul to make vital decisions that will determine the form of the next incarnation. And this planning isn't usually done in isolation. It's often undertaken with other souls.
Your souls.
Souls who have played a part, pleasant or unpleasantly, in previous incarnations who need to work on the mutual karmic patterns. It's a collaborative process, addressing these intertwined destinies, ensuring souls involved in complex karmic relationships can continue their shared learning and resolution together.
So when planning, is it like creating a wish list for the next life, Pick all the good stuff, avoid the hardships. I mean, after experiencing the bliss of LBL, surely no one willingly signs up for difficulty again.
But here's where Sumitjee draws a fascinating distinction. What a soul wants versus what it needs.
Needs versus wants, okay.
The judge's recommendations are made according to what the soul needs, not what it wants. The purpose is always growth and purification. And remember, the price of advancement is always challenge and difficulty.
Right, the challenges are necessary.
There's no escaping the necessary lessons if the goal is evolution, not just temporary earthly comfort. Souls, in their expanded LBL awareness, understand this. They know that true comfort and liberation come from resolving karmic patterns and achieving spiritual mastery. And that often requires facing difficult situations head-on.
Okay, that makes sense from that higher perspective. Do all souls plan with the same level of detail, or does it vary depending on their spiritual maturity?
No, it varies. The details of life script may be more or less specific. Sumitjee suggests that less developed souls seem to require a detailed blueprint of plans.
More structure.
Yes, a more rigid, step-by-step structure for their next life. They might need a clearer path to ensure they confront and learn the necessary lessons. In contrast, more evolved souls provide themselves with only a general outline.
Just the basics.
Pretty much. So that they may act more creatively in challenging situations. They give themselves more freedom for improvisation, for deeper, more nuanced learning within broader parameters.
Like a beginner needing detailed instructions versus a master who just needs the objective.
Exactly like that. It's about the level of conscious awareness and capability the soul has developed. But this raises an important question. What happens if a soul repeatedly fails to meet the challenges they set out for themselves?
Do they get held back?
Sumitjee states that souls who fail repeatedly to overcome major challenges in a succession of lives find out they are urged by the judgment board to place themselves in similar situations until these challenges are met successfully.
So you keep repeating the class until you pass?
Essentially, yes. You keep repeating patterns, facing the same lessons until they are truly learned and integrated. And the teaching provides a stark warning about not planning. Reincarnation without a plan leads to a lifetime open to unproductive and unnecessarily trial and hardship.
Just drifting aimlessly.
With no script to follow, the soul becomes like a reed shaken in the wind. Now, there's no penalty for failing in the eyes of the judges, no punishment from them. But a wasted life, Sumitjee says, leads to profound, remorseful self-condemnation and the feeling that the lifetime has been wasted. The soul itself feels the regret of missed opportunities for growth.
Okay, this is a big one for me. If souls plan their lives so meticulously, choosing parents, challenges, even countries, why don't we remember any of it when we're born? It seems like soul learning would be so much easier if we came into life with full knowledge of our blueprint instead of stumbling around trying to figure it out.
It's a critical question, absolutely.
Hmm?
And sumitjee explained its necessity quite beautifully. He says, before entering the earth plane in birth, the entity passes through an etheric barrier that lowers the vibration of its consciousness.
An etheric barrier, like an energy field.
Something like that. This energetic shift effectively causes the memory of the bardo, including its initial magnificence, if it has been perceived, dissolves. Yeah. It's a necessary energetic recalibration required for physical incarnation. The frequencies are just too different.
Okay, but why is this amnesia necessary? What vital purpose does forgetting serve for our growth and the lessons we came here to learn?
It serves a couple of profound and vital purposes, according to the teaching. First, it allows the individual to embark on the new life unhindered by confusing echoes from the past deeds and misdeeds.
A clean slate.
Exactly. Without that clean slate, we might be completely overwhelmed, burdened by past failures, or maybe constrained by prior attachments and experiences. It allows for a fresh, authentic engagement with the present moment and its unique challenges. And crucially, especially for souls who have just experienced the incredible grandeur and boundless love of LBL,
Yes.
the amnesia also prevents pining and homesickness for the grandeur that has been left behind.
Ah, so we wouldn't want to leave.
Or we'd be constantly yearning for our true home, making it impossible to fully immerse ourselves in the dense, often difficult lessons of the new physical life. And that full immersion is absolutely crucial for deep, authentic soul learning and purification. You have to be here to learn the lessons of here.
Makes sense. We need to be fully present.
Precisely. Although sumitjee does suggest that while we're born with this amnesia, some souls show an early, subtle awareness. He mentions souls perhaps hovering over the mother, encouraging her in choices of food and music, and discouraging smoking and the use of alcohol.
Really?
Before birth, indicating a subtle influence for mutual welfare? Yes. This touches on the fascinating interplay between brain memory and soul memory.
Brain versus soul memory.
Right. The brain's memory develops within the womb, and that's what we access consciously after birth. But the soul's eternal I, its core essence, is also present, subtly influencing the new life's trajectory, even when the conscious memory of LBL and the life plan is veiled. It's a very subtle, intricate dance between the physical and the spiritual. The soul's deepest knowing is still there, guiding from behind the veil, even if we don't consciously remember the plan.
Sumitjee addresses a very difficult topic quite strongly. Suicide, viewed as a perceived shortcut to escape earthly suffering. What's the teaching here? Why is it considered futile from this profound perspective of LBL and the soul's journey?
Yes, it's an important question, and sumitjee's teaching offers a stark yet ultimately compassionate warning that really goes against many conventional assumptions about escaping problems. He states, people who commit suicide are frequently seized by the feelings of dread in the interlife.
Dread, not relief.
Dread. And they are forced to return, to cope with the level of difficulty that led to premature departure from the earth plane. The message is clear. There's no escaping the chosen lessons, only delaying them and potentially making the return harder.
So you just have to face it again.
Exactly. From the soul's expanded perspective, as described in the source, suicide is deemed absolute stupidity. Why? Because, as sumitjee explains, you will again come back facing the same situation. The underlying issue, the karmic knot, remains unresolved.
You can't run away from your own lessons.
You really can't. There's no true escape from the challenges you chose for your growth. You're simply back to square one, stuck on what sumitjee calls a hedonic treadmill of repeating patterns until the underlying challenges are finally addressed and integrated. He makes a profound point that no amount of psychoanalysis will show or tell that in a very confronting manner to a patient who wants to end their own life. Because the LBL experience itself provides an undeniable experiential truth that you cannot escape your chosen blueprint for growth. It's not theory, it's direct knowing. True liberation, the teaching implies, comes from facing and overcoming challenges with awareness and courage right here on Earth, not from attempting to avoid them.
It's a clear message. The soul's evolution demands engagement, not withdrawal.
Precisely.
So, after this incredible, really mind-expanding deep dive into the life between lives state, what does this ultimately tell us about how we should live our lives right now, today? What's the biggest, most actionable takeaway for you, the listener, to carry forward from all this?
Well, if we connect all these threads back to the bigger picture, The overarching message, the one sumitjee emphasizes again and again, is that core teaching. We are thoroughly responsible for who we are, the circumstances we find ourselves. We are the ones who do the choosing.
That sense of absolute responsibility.
Yes. And when that truth is truly internalized, it frees us. It frees us from the illusion of victimhood. It completely takes away all our excuses and empowers us to take genuine ownership of our lives and our growth.
It's truly empowering, if challenging. So, how can understanding these principles help us in our current journey? How does knowing about LBL, about our soul's true home and journey, help us live with greater purpose and perhaps less suffering right now in this physical life?
By understanding these principles, we can choose to live with greater awareness. As Sumitjee suggests, what we are doing through these classes, through the scriptures, through repetition, through going back to your previous life, we are shortening that lifespan.
Shortening the lifespan of repeated lessons.
Exactly. We are actively shortening the number of painful repetitions of the same old lessons. Awareness shortens the time we might otherwise spend acting foolishly, driven by unconscious patterns and reactions. If you are quick to learn, if you are more aware, vigilant, Sumitjee says, you can immediately end repetitive karmic patterns.
We can end them.
Yes, because karma also comes to an end in your hands. It's about conscious engagement, recognizing the lessons as they arise, and choosing new, more evolved responses instead of repeating the past.
Taking control of our own karma, in a sense.
In a very real sense, yes. And what's truly fascinating here is what Sumitjee indicates as the real measure of our lives when viewed from the interlife realm. It isn't the external stuff, the material accomplishments, whether you made $1 billion island, or you marry the most pretty woman, or you procreated 23 kids, yi sabaye gahinahi. None of that will even be considered.
So what does matter?
What matters is how you felt and how you are as a discarnate being. It's about your internal state, your emotional landscape, your spiritual growth, the degree of purification you achieved, and the true progress your soul made on its evolutionary journey back towards the source. That's the only currency, the only measure that truly matters when you return to your spiritual home.
Wow. This deep dive has truly given us a profound new perspective on our existence, Hugh. The idea that we are the architects of our own lives, fully responsible for our choices and circumstances. It's both challenging and, I think, incredibly empowering.
It really encourages us to approach life's challenges differently, doesn't it? Not as random burdens inflicted upon us, but as chosen opportunities. Opportunities for growth, for purification, knowing that a loving, wise counsel awaits to help us evaluate our progress without judgment. It invites us to see every experience as a lesson designed ultimately for our highest good.
So what does this all mean for you, our dedicated learner listening right now? Perhaps the provocative thought to carry forward is this. If your current life is a masterpiece you meticulously sketched in the LBL realm, how faithfully are you following your own blueprint? And what changes would you consciously make starting today to live with even greater awareness, deeper purpose right now? Thank you for joining us on this truly enlightening deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep growing.